let's have a look at your breaststroke, Sabrina. Okay. The first thing let's talk about, okay, is that streamline glide position. Okay. We want to look as close to a perfect streamline as possible, like we just pushed off the wall. Okay. You have a pretty good head position here. Okay. Your arms are a little lower than they could be. Your legs are a little maybe lower under the surface than ideal, but that's a pretty good straight line. I like that you're stretched all the way through. Okay. Good job holding your glide there. Okay. As we look now at your pull, okay, I think one thing that'll help get our arms and our legs up to the surface of the water actually is involved in your pull. So I like the way you set up the beginning of your pull here. Okay, and it's just about the right width, okay, and you get a good high elbow catch. I'd like you to try to keep your arms farther out in front of you though. Notice how your arms come all the way back here to your chest. Okay, the farther back our arms are, the farther we have to shoot them forward. Okay, and covering all that distance in the green there is a lot of resistance. So the longer it takes us to push our arms back to the front to get into streamline, okay, the longer we're in a very slow resistive phase. So we want to snap through that as quickly as possible. One way to do that is to drive our arms forward faster. The other way to do that, okay, is to stop our pull a little earlier. So instead of coming all the way back here to the yellow line, okay, you could come back to about the green line. Okay, so it's a little bit more out in front of your face. This will also help us as we have less distance to travel our arms back forward. We'll fall back down into the water a little bit less, hopefully. So that'll help us keep our streamline right on the surface. Okay. Last thing we talk a lot about is the kick. That's kind of the key to breaststroke, is having a good kick. Okay, and as you draw your heels up to your hips, be careful that your knees don't slide apart too far. Okay, if we look up at the top, we want this distance to be as narrow as possible. And then we want to get our heels, okay, outside of those hips, okay, outside of those knees, which you do a nice job of here. Okay. I'm going to pull you back here so that you're right in the middle of the screen. I want you to think about, okay, how far you bring your heels up. Okay, this is the point in the stroke right here, okay, where you're actually using your kick to push you back through the water. I would like you to take a look at your graph when you get it of this part of your kick until this part of your kick. So the point from which your heels are closest to your hips until the point at which your heels are outside of your hips. Okay, and see when the graph shows that you're actually starting to create some velocity. Okay, so when the graph is going up and showing that you're getting faster. I suspect that the point from heels closest to your hips until heels outside of your knees, okay, you're actually not creating a ton of velocity. So I would almost encourage you to not draw your heels up quite so far. Okay, that'll also allow you, I think, to be a little bit narrower on your knees. You won't have to slide them out quite so far. Okay, so trying to spend as little time as possible in those resistive phases of the stroke is going to be key for you, Sabrina. So shortening the depth of our pull, trying to not come quite so close to our chest, and then trying not to draw our heels quite so far up to our hips. Is what I would like to see you work on with your breaststroke, and I think those little kind of elite tweaks could make a big difference for you.